Hi, I'm Rebecca of the Creabea Knitting Podcast, and today we're taking a tour of all of the yarn shops in Edinburgh. So hi, welcome. I am a knitter. I am here in Edinburgh where I live, and today I thought I would take you to see all of the yarn shops that this fine city has to offer. I often get asked for people who are visiting, are there yarn shops? Where are the yarn shops? Which one should they go to? And so I thought I would take the day and go to the yarn shops across the city, see what they have, do some yarn shopping and share where they are and what you can find at each shop. So there are 3 yarn shops in Edinburgh: Ginger Twist Studio, Kathy's Knits and Bee Inspired Fibres. They're all pretty spread across the city. The closest is about a 30-minute walk from me, and the furthest is pretty far. It's the other side of the city for me. So, and then Kathy's Knits is right in the middle, and they all kind of have like their own thing, which is very exciting. And so I thought it would be nice to go to all of them. It is a pretty grey, it's a bit of a rainy day in Edinburgh today, which is actually, it's often a rainy day in Edinburgh, so it feels like a good day to show you the city, because I think Edinburgh does particularly well in the doom and gloom. But I don't want to get wet, so we're stuck with that dilemma. It's about 10:30, and I'm going to head to the first yarn shop. The first shop I'm going to go to is Kathy's Knits. It is the most central shop in Edinburgh. It has a lot of like woolly wools and some cool notions. I'm looking forward to that one. I am then going to hop across to the far side of the city to go to Bee Inspired Fibres, which has a lot of really interesting commercial yarns, a lot of like European commercial yarn, and it's a real like treasure trove. There's just stuff everywhere. And then I'm going to wrap up my day with my local yarn shop, Ginger Twist Studios, which is the smallest but the most colourful, I think, of all of them. Mostly because I'm pretty sure Ginger Twist will have everything I'm looking for, and so I figure if I can't find it elsewhere, I know that finishing at Ginger will solve everything. So what am I looking for today? I am not one of those people, I can shop without things in mind, but I definitely feel more motivated and a bit more like focused if I have plans for what I'm going shopping for. So today I have some plans, and let's see how I get on with them. The first thing is I am currently knitting, I've knit up like a set of a cowl, a hat and mittens called the Webster accessory set, I guess, and I want to make a second sample. And it uses 2 yarns, the main yarn and a contrast, and my hope is to get the contrast colour out of 1 skein of hand-dyed DK, which I have. This is my skein of hand-dyed DK. It's from Telling Yarns in the colour Viserion. It's 100%, it says here somewhere, oh no, it's on the front, sorry. It is a DK weight non-superwash wool, 50% BFL, 30% Romney, 15% Masham and 5% Starch Bliss, is that how you say that? And it's this really lovely, like warm, rusty colour, not quite rust, but like warm, like the colour of the leaves basically as they're turning, and I love it. So I'm going to take this with me because I want to find a contrast colour to pair with this. I'm thinking like a warm cream might be nice. I want this stuff to pop, but I don't want it to be overwhelming. So I'm going to pack this with me. The second thing I'm looking for is also for a cowl. I have my Cargill sweater pattern currently about to be released, and it's been a running joke in the test group that this is such a squishy stitch. Like, what are all the different things we could make out of the stitch? Like, let's make a vest, let's make a t-shirt, let's make a pillowcase. And the most popular one is a cowl, and I just really want a cowl in this. It's so soft and so squishy. So I'm looking for some yarn to make a cowl in this stitch pattern. I have a pattern in mind. I have a yarn in mind from Ginger Twist, but let's see if I find something else before then. And last but not least, I have, I'm actually for the sweater taking some pictures on Sunday. Today is Thursday, and I have 2 of my testers and a wonderful nitty photographer who has offered to help out. we're going to spend the day or the morning taking some pictures, and I thought it'd be really lovely to get each of them something special. One of my testers loves blue. One of my testers loves like purpley reds and like pinks. And then my photographer, I have no idea what she likes, but I know she knits. So my plan is to find something interesting. And again, Ginger Twist has amazing hand-dyed yarn. So if I can't find something anywhere else, then I will pick up some hand-dyed ginger twist. But that's like my, my safety. Like I know I can get that. Let's see what else we can find. So I think that's everything. I have a few other things to do today. I'm dropping off some yarn to a friend who's working today. I'm going on holiday next week, and I've got a few things to pick up, like some new face cream, like really boring bits. And I think it'll be nice to stop and get like maybe a nice coffee and maybe some cake somewhere later. So that is my plan. Let's see how this goes, and let's go yarn shopping. So I hopped on a bus into the city. As you can see, it was a pretty wet and dreary day here in Edinburgh. The bus usually doesn't take so long, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. It's about a 30 to 40 minute walk. On this day though, there was so much traffic that I definitely could have walked there faster, although I would have ended up much more wet. This big long street is called Leith Walk, and it has a lot of really cool bakeries and cafes and independent shops. It also currently has a lot of roadworks because they're building a tram here. When we get off the bus at the top of Leith Walk, we're going to head to Broughton Street and then just walk straight down Broughton Street, and we'll find ourselves at Cathy's Knits. Now it is tucked down a little bit below. It's not super easy to see from street level, but if you know what you're looking for, then it's pretty easy to find, and the shop itself is so cute and cozy. They have a lot of really great, very woolly wools in Cathy's Knits, and they have all these little cubbies overflowing with yarn and patterns pinned next to them with the yarn you could use. There's some great commercial options, lots of great sock yarn to pick from, and such great colours. It really is a bit of a treasure trove here. There's also this super cozy sofa. I've been in twice, and both times I've seen the partners of knitters on the sofa here, like waiting whilst their partner buys yarn. Very well placed sofa. And I loved the colours of JC Rennie. I just think that's so cool to look at. And so many of their colours have these great tonal shades to them, which I find really interesting. And that was it. We waved goodbye to Cathy's. So I've been to the first shop, Cathy's Knits, and it was really successful. I picked up 2 of the gift skeins and 2 other balls of yarn. I'll show you all later when I get home. But it's really lovely. I went before and I hadn't met Cathy, and this time I met Cathy, so she was really friendly. There were a couple from the States in, and then a woman from New Zealand, so people travel far and wide apparently. But yeah, great selection of yarn, really nice woolly wools like JC Rennie, Blacker Yarns, Woolly Knit, Jamesons and Smith. So yeah, really liked it. Cozy little spot. I'm now off to find my friend Celeste, give her the wool that I'm delivering. She works at Starbucks, so maybe pick up a coffee and then head to the next shop, which is Be Inspired Fibres. It is probably walking distance, to be honest, and it stopped raining, so I think I might take a walk there. So as I left Cathy's, I got a little spot of the top of Calton Hill. There's an observatory up here and Nelson's Monument. It's a great little walk if you're in the city. And I realised there was somewhere that wasn't on my list, which is probably worth looking at, which is John Lewis. John Lewis is a department store. It has everything. Literally, I always have to look and find where to go. But if you head to the haberdashery, there is a pretty healthy selection of yarns. It's all commercial yarns, a lot of Rowan, a lot of Sirdar, some West Yorkshire spinners, a lot of things for baby knits, there were 2 women filling the shelves here, so I didn't want to fill them, but I have shown you the great selection of tools they have here. A lot of knitting needles and cables and like thick circulars and crochet hooks. It's a good place to head to if you need a specific thing, like notions and things. It's also really central. I then headed to meet my friend Celeste, but she wasn't working. She was actually home, so I had to walk a little bit down the Royal Mile to go and meet her. I've never felt more like a tourist in my entire life than walking down the Royal Mile whilst holding my phone and filming. I felt so silly here, but it is such a nice street. It runs right through the centre of the city, all the way from the castle down to the Scottish Parliament and Holyrood House. And I think this is meant to be the oldest house in Edinburgh, but I could be wrong. It's John Knox's house. And then I headed across to the next shop, and I decided to take the tourist route because I love any excuse to show off this building. This is Old College, which is the law faculty at Edinburgh, and it's where I studied for 4 years. I lived my very best Elwood's and Legally Blonde life while studying here, and spent many hours at those top windows in the library. And honestly, any time someone comes to visit Edinburgh, I always fit in a little walk through here because I just think it looks so special. I also headed through Bristol Square, which again is another university square. On the right here you've got McEwen House, and then in the middle is a student union called Teviot, which looks so like Hogwarts. I love it. To get to Be Inspired Fibres, you have to head across the Meadows, and the Meadows is the big grassy park in the centre of the city. I walked over here pretty much every single day as a student, so it was kind of cool to walk there. And then we landed at Cathy's Knits in Marchmont, and this is one treasure trove of a shop. I think you could find anything you wanted in this shop. You can see some great hand-dyed yarns, some Sakami, some hedgehog fibres, some Life in the Long Grass, some commercial sock yarn. Honestly, there is so much in this shop, and it is purely chaos. I think if you know what you're going for, you could ask and you'll definitely find it. It was also so much fun to rummage through here, and I found more unexpected finds here than anywhere else. I also, watching this footage back to edit, really wanted to go back to the shop because I thought, oh, I wish I picked up a skein of that, or what about a skein of this, with some really amazing commercial brands. There's obviously Rowan, they've got Filcolana, they've got Camera Rose, they have Rochester Pomar, Asair, like you name it, they have it. There were samples as well, but they were kind of spread everywhere, as you can see. They also have a web shop, which is a bit more organised than the in-person store. And the thing I was most excited about was snagging some of this Kinross 4-ply. I didn't know anywhere in Edinburgh stocked it, and I love this yarn. Okay, so I have now been to the second yarn shop, which is Be Inspired Fibres, and oh my goodness, I'm very glad that yarn shop is not closer to me, because I think if it was, I would spend a fortune there. It was amazing. It is chaos, like pure chaos. You reach onto a shelf and one ball of yarn is one brand, and then the ball next to it is another brand. So it's definitely like organised madness, but it has so many amazing brands. They have, just so many cool things. I was very excited because I managed to snag a skein of Kinross 4-ply, which I didn't think they had. I don't think they stocked it, so I was really pleased they stocked it, and that's coming home with me, along with lots of other things. Yeah, could have spent double because there were just so many amazing things, and yeah. I have now got one yarn shop left, which is Ginger Twist. I'm glad it's the last one. I'm feeling tired. I'm looking forward to getting home and sitting down and doing some knitting. But yeah, one more left. I'm going to go drop some snacks off to my boyfriend, get some lunch, do my last shop, I know that I definitely have something I want to get at Ginger Twist, so we'll see what else we can find. And then hometown. So yeah, it's been pretty successful so far. And let's see how much more damage I can do with one shop left. So I headed down Princess Street to go back home in Leith direction. I picked up some vegan baked goods on the way and dropped them off my boyfriend, who was being a good adult and working. A little tip here, if you are in the city and you also like books, this shop, Topping & Company, is one of the best bookshops I have ever been to. It's so lovely, it has big bright windows, they will also serve tea and coffee, and it's definitely worth a stop. I was getting all the autumnal feels, heading over to Ginger Twist, and then I arrived. Ginger is the smallest of the shops, but they make an effort to really pack this place pretty full with lots of yarny goodies. So on the left hand wall there is all of the Ginger's hand-dyed yarn, this beautiful rainbow wall full of different bases, all hand-dyed here in Edinburgh, and would make an amazing souvenir skein if you're visiting. And then the right hand wall has everything else, so all the bases, all of the weights of yarn, sock yarn, sweater yarn, shawl yarn, also some amazing notions and books. And in this corner they have put in all the different magazines you can pick up, your wool wash, some amazing notions and bags. And as you can see, they really pack the shop all the way up to the ceiling. I bought so much yarn. Okay, I'm home. I'm tired and I have some yarn to show. I don't know how this happened, but I bought so much more than I planned to buy. I guess it's nice, like it means that I have some great local local yarn stores, and yeah, it's a lot. Okay, let me start with the first shop. So the first shop was Kathy's Knits on Broughton Street, and I think it's open from like 10 to 4 most days, and it's lovely. I met Kathy. There were a couple of like other international shoppers in there who'd gone travelling. I actually like at all the shops I went to, most of the people that were otherwise shopping, with the exception of one person, were all international. They'd like come and they were visiting, which I thought was really sweet. Kathy's was really, really good for rustic British yarns. So a lot of they've got like one wall which was mostly things like JC Rennie, Jamesons and Smith, Blacker yarns. They've got some great sock yarn. They have loads of patterns, a lot of samples out, a super cozy like sofa, little like chill space, and yeah, it was really lovely. I'll show you what I bought. So I bought the first 2 of my gift skeins in there. So for the person who really loves like the pinks and the reds, I bought this skein. This is Titus Bantam by Baram U. So it is 100 grams, 350 yards, and it is 50% Wensleydale, 20% BFL, and 30% UK alpaca. And it's 350 yards or 320 meters, 100% British, spun in Yorkshire. And you can see it's quite lustrous, got quite a glossiness to it. And I just thought this colour was perfect. The second one is for the person who really loves blue. And I also got Titus for them. It's funny because I knew that the person who loves blue also knows the person who runs who runs the shop. So I was there, she was chatting about it, and I was like, oh, like this is a gift for such and such. And she's like, oh, she loves blue, she'll love it. And I was like, yeah, I think she will too. And I said, she's test knitting for me. She's like, oh my goodness, I've seen your project, like I know what garment it is. So that was very cool. I felt very like, oh, so exciting, because she knew my pattern. So yeah, those are my first 2 purchases. The drape on these is amazing. You'll remember when I showed off some, I don't know what skein it was a few weeks ago. This was my yarn experiment with Rebecca. And this is a real sign of how like drapey a yarn is. Like it won't stay up straight in your hand. So yeah, beautiful drape, very, very soft. And I'm excited to gift both of those. I picked up from another shop some candles, so I'm going to gift the skein and a little candle in some form of gift wrapping that I've not organised yet. The other thing that was there is JC Rennie. Now JC Rennie is yarn from Scotland. I bought some to send to Mega of the Skeins of Dreams podcast when we did our yarn swap last year, and I wanted to try it ever since, but I've not. And I knew they stocked it here, and I keep thinking, oh, I should get some. And then this colour completely sold me, and I thought this has to be a hat. So can you see that? It's like pearlescent. It looks a bit like an oil spill in like the very best way. So I have 2 balls of these. It's quite a neutral from far off, but then it has these speckles. My hope is to pair this with a mohair and make, I think, maybe the musselburgh hat. I might just hold a single actually to make musselburgh, but I think I'll be knitting for days and days if I do that, because it is very thin yarn. It is 246 meters per 50 grams and 28 stitches per 10 centimeters, 3mm recommended. So I guess I could knit it on a 2.75 and just knit a hat and see. I'm worried that'd be very thin. But yeah, it's super soft 4-ply, 100% wool. It's very oily. They actually look quite different here, but I don't think they do in person. I think they are different dye lots. Let's see, 81491. Yeah, so they're definitely different dye lots. But I think if I hold a mohair with it, you won't be able to tell so much. And yeah, I thought that was just really special. And I thought that would make a really nice hat. Either with mohair or without. Mohair? My only concern with mohair is, will it make it, like, will it wash out the colour a little bit? Like, will it fade that little delicate colour, or will it help it pop? I'm not sure. Okay, my second shop was Be Inspired Fibres over in Marchmont. It's a while to get to, and it's probably a good thing because they had everything. They had so much stuff. Oh my goodness. I already mentioned the place is a bit chaotic. There's stuff everywhere. But they have some of my absolute favourite brands. Like, a lot of the wool that I really love to work with is in there, and other stuff that I didn't know. So they had, let me see, Filcolana, Camera Rose, Retrosart Pomar, some really cool indie dyers like Zakami and Life in the Long Grass, some real classics like Cascade, Regia Sock, West Yorkshire Spinners, Ito, a lot of Isire, the list goes on, Cyberball. Like, they just had everything. They had so many cool things. I was amazed. So I went in there and bought more than I intended to buy. That was my biggest purchase by far. So where to start? Okay, I'll start with my least considered, and then we'll go to my most considered. So my least considered was a skein of this, and I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I loved it so much. I keep seeing colour changing yarns, and I saw this and I was like, I want it. It is Merino Extra Fine Superwash. It's obviously like, it's a bit, it might be an unspun, to be honest, or like a very loosely spun. It is 220 meters per 100 grams. So it's kind of like it's a DK weight, DK to worsted, I guess. And it's these very cool colours. And I don't know what I'm going to make. It could be a gift knit, to be honest. Like, I know I can get something like a hat out of this, which might just be really cool and cozy. Or I could hold it with something. I don't know how this ended up in my basket. I was walking around like holding all these skeins, and May, who runs Be Inspired, like gave me this canvas carrier and was like, do you want this? And I was like, yes please. And of course I just filled it. So yeah, these are the really cool colours. Anyone have any extra, any recommendations? I think I'll just go on Ravelry and see what people have made with this and see. They're not really my colours either, so I guess I'm going to gift it. I think I went out of my colour zone with a lot of things I bought today. Okay, so that was my first thing. My second, like, oddity, I'm worried things are going to fall off in a second. I've got it all very precariously balanced. Okay, so you will remember, oh actually, yeah, it is all falling. You might remember that I bought this skein. You will remember because it's in the video. For me, that was like 6 hours ago, but for you, this was like 20 minutes ago. I have this skein of DK weight yarn and I want to hold it with something else, and so I bought Cascade. Now, I'm a little bit annoyed because I thought about Cascade before and I ruled Cascade out because I thought it was too thick. And then what did I do? I went and bought some more. So part of me is like, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. But actually, I don't think it is too thick. So maybe it's going to be okay. So I bought these two skeins of Cascade 220. They are in the most glorious, like warm beige. It's almost yellow. It's like an antique, but you know when you get those like old sweaters and they've kind of gone like yellow colour with age? Like that's kind of what this is. I'm sure that's not a good thing to say, but I don't know the colour. It's just a number on here. Part of me wishes I might just go online and buy some more and make a cable sweater out of this, but that feels a bit wasteful because I do think it will go pretty well with this. So I guess I'll swatch. That's obviously what I should do. I should do some swatching and see if I like these two together. This is 230 meters. And these are 200, and this is 200. I'm saying that off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I've used this a lot. Yeah, 200 meters. So the yardage isn't massively different. But I should swatch with this and see what I think. The colour is perfect. And I know I love Cascade. It's such a good wearing yarn. And so if it does go well with this, that will be my next Webster set. I don't know why I think it's going to be too thick. I don't know where this idea has come from, but it's there. I'll swatch to see what happens. Okay, I then had one more gift net to buy for the person taking my pictures on Sunday, and so I bought a skein of Malabriel Rios, which I think is a great yarn, and this is the colour Glitter, and oh my goodness, it really does look shimmery, doesn't it? I guess it does in real life, but holding it to the camera, it just, like, it's got like an inner glow. How amazing. I have seen somebody knit this up into a sweater and it is incredible. So I do think I would use this again at some point. I've used Manos del Uruguay. No, it's not Manos del Uruguay. I've used Malabriel Rios before. And it's because it says on the back Uruguay on the label. So it's a worsted weight. It's 210 yards, so 190 meters per 100 grams, superwash merino, and it's in the colour Glitter. So that'll be the third gift skein. I don't really know what colour she likes because the conversations that we've been having have been on her like photography account, so they're all like very professional pictures. So maybe I'll meet her and she has like purple hair and I was like, oh, this is a bad choice. But I thought this is the most stunning neutral that I think anyone could get behind, whether or not you're into brown. Okay, my third thing from there was my 10th thing. Just a little skein of Anatilia Mohair. I have a design in mind and I'm in no rush to cast it on, but I would like to get swatching because I think it's the sort of design that will need a bit of mental work before I cast on, and I've not quite made up all my decisions about it, so I want to do some swatching, and I already have the wool I want to use to hold with this. So I thought I wanted to order a lot, like a Spanish quantity of Filcolana, but we're going on holiday and like I want to order it when we get back, but then I'm impatient to swatch, so I thought I'll just pick up a skein now. I also have intentions of making a Lento striped sweater, and if I have any of this left over, I'll just go to the Lento with the stripes. So yeah, it's Anatilia. It's my favourite mohair. I love it. And it's just a navy colour, and I've already got some drops Nord, I think, to pair with this, and I might just, once I finish recording, make a cup of tea, put on some pyjamas because I bought myself new pyjamas today too, and do a little bit of swatching and just relax because I'm so tired. Okay, my next two skeins were incredibly exciting and I came home and immediately checked them and they are perfect. So my very first one is a skein of Canos 4-ply. Now I put this on my list this morning. I had a list on my phone of things to buy and I was like, there's no way I'm going to find it. Because I was pretty sure, like I checked the stockist of this before I left and there was nowhere in Edinburgh on the stockist list, so I was like, forget about it. They had it at Be Inspired Fibres. I screamed in the shop and it was like tucked under and I was like in this bag and I was like, oh, that is what I need. I'm knitting the daily pullover from Paula Pereira for Pearl Soho, and I bought this yarn for it, and I was a little bit worried. Like I've got one skein left. I just finished a sleeve and I have the 50 gram balls, and I used, I think, 40 grams for a sleeve, and I think I want to add a bit more length to the body. Like, the body's not been finished yet, so I thought, I was a bit like, oh, I'll probably do with an extra skein. I don't think I'll use a whole extra skein, but I think I want like an extra 10 centimetres on the body from what I have now, and I don't think I have enough yarn for it. And I didn't think they stocked this so wildly, but they do. So I came home immediately and panicked and thought, I mean, I spoke to a stockist of this a few weeks ago at the Perth Festival of Yarn and asked about the colours and said, is there a difference in colour? And she said, I've never really noticed it. So I actually don't know which of these is the one I have and which is the one which I already had. But as far as I can tell, they are pretty perfect. I always think the camera shows up more differences than my eyes can see, and I can't really tell a difference, so that's a good sign. So it's amazing. I'm so pleased. I love, love, love this yarn. I think everyone should knit with this, mostly because I'd love for them to bring out a DK base, and if this is really popular, maybe they'd bring out a DK base. It's insanely soft, and when it washes, it feels like cashmere. I've said this like 5 times, but it's so true. And I am just so excited to finish that sweater. Like I say, I bound off a sleeve last night, so I've got a sleeve and a sleeve to do and the body to finish, and now I've got some yarn to do it. So I was so pleased to find this, and I'm so pleased they stock it, because I think I've already got another sweater's quantity in grey in this, and I think I will buy more. And then a very similar situation to my final skein is this, which is Mondi. Oh, that way around. Mondi is a sock yarn from Anatilia Mohair, and I already have some of this in stash, which I actually did some swatching for last night, so it's already bound up with mohair. I unraveled my swatch because I thought I was short on yarn. I bought 4 skeins of this in the sale from Suffolk Socks, because I think this colour is discontinued, I think. And I have 4 skeins of this, and it's 300 and something meters, I think, per 50 grams. $3.85. And I would like to make a Stockholm sweater by Petite Knit, and I was just a bit worried that I didn't have enough yardage, because that's not like 1200 meters, but it's quite an oversized sweater. And I'm so excited for this sweater that I thought I don't want to run out of yarn. Like, I want this to be perfect. So I probably would have made it fit without the yarn. But I went into the shop and they had a ball right there, and I was like, that needs to come home with me, because that way I've got a lot more flexibility around the rest of the sweater, and I was so relieved. And then I got home and I thought, let me check those colours, and I threw out the ball band for this one, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the same dye lot, because they are the exact same colour. And this is a sock yarn, and I've made socks out of it, so if I don't need the skein, or if I don't need the whole skein, I will happily make myself a pair of socks in this, because it is incredibly soft. It just makes really lovely socks. So yeah, this one and the Canos reply, I was like, oh my gosh, it's meant to be. So yeah, and then I finished up my day at Ginger Twist. By this point I was so tired. I went for some food. I went and got chicken tenders. They were amazing. But I kind of hoped that would really revive me, and it did not revive me. Like, it just made me more tired. So my last stop was Ginger Twist. It feels like my local yarn shop, because it really is quite close to me. So it was really lovely to go in, and I got exactly what I was looking for, which is the St Magnus DK. I thought it was the DK. I thought this was a fingering weight. And it is Orkney Angora. So this is, it does actually look like a pretty thick yarn for a fingering weight, but I don't know if I would call it a DK. So this is 50% Angora, 50% lamb's wool, 50 grams, approximately 200 meters, 20 to 28 stitches on 10 centimeters. That's a really wide range. Hand wash or dry clean, hand dyed in the Orkney Islands. This is the colour lavender. Oh, they're actually from different, they're from different dye lots, and you can tell. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay, well, the plan was to hold this yarn together. Maybe I don't hold it together, and maybe I have these two in the cowl and I just use this for something separate, and then it's not as obvious that it doesn't match. So all the ball bands are coming off, but this is absolutely incredible. It's so soft and lovely, and you can see the halo on it from there. The colours are amazing. I was really struggling to pick the colours because they were beautiful. I was really impressed with the colours that we had. All my ball bands are coming off. And actually, I don't know, there's a difference, but is there that big of a difference? Like, this is a bit more purple. This is a bit more blue. I actually think, I wonder if it's been maybe in the window, because I feel like this colour, this side and this, like that side, there's no difference. And that side, there's a big difference, isn't there? Am I making this up? So maybe it's been in the window and it's just some window fade. And if so, what I might do is I might hold these two together to start with, and then use like one of the ones which is the same colour as the third, because I really don't think the colour is that much of a difference. It really is, like that side. It's like magic. So I got everything on my list and then some. The only thing I didn't pick up was the sock yarn, the Christmas sock yarn, and I think that's okay. It is September. It will be October by the time the video goes live, but it's currently the end of September and I don't need to buy Christmas sock yarn. Like, I've got a whole box of sock yarn. I've only just got my sock mojo back. Let's knit some socks, get through some sock yarn, and then worry about buying Christmas sock yarn later. So yeah, that was my day. I hope you enjoyed it. I had such a nice time. I think it was really, really great. It challenged me a lot to go and like film myself. I felt very awkward at some places. Like, my hair has just turned to like, this is what a day outside in the half rain does to my curly-ish hair. I find it quite challenging to film myself. I felt very awkward, particularly when I was at the second shop where all the students live. There's nothing more terrifying than teenage girls, and so I was like, oh, I don't want to film myself here, which is silly because nobody cared apart from me, but I find it really challenging but really fun. It's such a nice thing to do, and it really made me realise how much like each yarn store has something different to offer. If you're visiting, I hope this helped with some places to see. I think that Kathy's Knits and Ginger Twist are by far the easiest to get to, but that shouldn't stop you from going to be inspired if you have time. They all have something so special to offer, and yeah, I'm really happy. It makes me feel like I'm very much part of something, and like, gosh, I love that knitting community. So I'm gonna go make a cup of tea, put on a pair of my new pyjamas, make myself a little snack, and put some of this yarn away probably first, and then do some knitting. I've had so much fun. I hope you did too. I'll see you soon. Bye!